bustling city of Lagos, there lived a family called the Adeyemis. They were a family of 3 who resided in Ikoyi, one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in Lagos. Sarah was only 6 years old when her world shattered. Her parents, Chief and Madam Adeyemi, were loving and hard-working business owners. They had built their empire from the ground up, running a successful chain of supermarkets and real estate investments. But their extended family, greedy, envious, and power-hungry, wanted it all. One evening, a secret meeting was held. "Let us burn down their home and make sure they die in the fire," whispered Alhaji Gbolahan, Sarah's uncle. The others nodded in agreement. Their plan was set. That night, the Adeyemi mansion was ambushed. Flames engulfed the grand estate as masked men carried out the deadly scheme. Chief and Madam Adeyemi perished in the fire, their dreams and legacy reduced to ashes. The culprits, led by Alhaji Gbolahan, believed they had wiped out the entire family. But little did they know, Sarah had survived. The next morning, she lay on the streets of Lagos, barely breathing. A good Samaritan, Mama Chidi, found the helpless girl, a food vendor with a modest home. She lived with her husband and son. Chidi, without hesitation, she scooped Sarah into her arms and took her home. Mama Chidi cared for Sarah, raising her as her own. But life in her new home was far from easy. Chidi, her foster brother, despised her. He bullied her relentlessly, taunting her about being an orphan. One night when Sarah was 16, she woke up to find Chidi creeping into her room. His eyes were dark with intent.
"Chidi, leave me alone,"
she screamed, struggling against him.
"I will tell Mama and Papa."
He smirked. "Who will believe you? You are nothing but a burden here." Terrified, Sarah ran to Mama Chidi and her husband, her heart pounding. But instead of comforting her, they turned on her.
"How dare you accuse Chidi of such a thing?"
Mama Chidi shouted, her face twisted with rage. Papa Chidi sighed, shaking his head. "You have brought shame into this house, Sarah. You must leave." And just like that, she was thrown out onto the cold streets of Lagos. For days, Sarah wandered, hungry and hopeless. Then one afternoon, she stumbled upon a small puff-puff stand owned by a kind-hearted woman named Aya Basira. Seeing the desperation in Sarah's eyes, Aya Basira called out, "Come, my dear. If you are willing to work hard, you can stay." Sarah eagerly agreed. She worked tirelessly, learning everything about the business. Over time, she saved enough money to start her own puff-puff stand. One day, a charming young man named Tunde became a regular at Sarah's stand. He was always well-dressed and polite. The first time Tunde laid eyes on Sarah, she was busy frying puff-puff at her small roadside stand. The golden brown treats sizzled in the bubbling oil, their sweet aroma wafting through the bustling Lagos street. Sarah, wearing a simple yet neat Ankara dress, moved with effortless grace, her hands skillfully flipping the puff-puff as she greeted customers with a warm smile. Tunde had stopped by out of curiosity. He had heard people talk about the girl who sells the best. He looked like any other office worker in Lagos. No one would have guessed. He was the son of one of the richest men in the city. He stepped forward and cleared his throat. "Good afternoon. I hear you sell the best puff-puff in Lagos." Sarah glanced up, slightly startled by the deep voice. She noticed the tall, handsome man standing before her with a charming smile. His neatly trimmed beard and confident demeanor made him stand out. She chuckled as she scooped some fresh puff-puff into a paper bag. "People like exaggerating, but since you're here, you can taste and judge for yourself." She handed him the bag and he took a bite. The soft, warm pastry melted in his mouth, perfectly balanced between sweet and fluffy. He nodded approvingly. "This is dangerously good," he said, grinning. "I might just become your regular customer." Aduni rolled her eyes playfully. "That's what they all say." But true to his word, Tunde returned the next day. And the next. And the next. At first, Sarah thought nothing of it. She had many loyal customers who returned for her delicious puff-puff. But Tunde was different. He didn't just buy puff-puff, he stayed to talk. "How long have you been doing this?" he asked one day, watching her expertly scoop the dough. "A few years now," she said, wiping her hands on a cloth. "I saved up to start my own stand after working for Aya Basira." Tunde admired her determination. She was unlike any woman he had met, strong, independent, and full of life despite the hardships she must have faced. As weeks turned into months, his visits became more frequent. Sometimes he would bring an extra bottle of cold Zobo or Fanta for her. Other times, he would stand by the stall, helping her chase away mischievous street boys who tried to steal from her stand. "You don't have to keep coming here," Sarah said one afternoon, raising an eyebrow at him. "You know you can buy puff-puff anywhere in Lagos." "But none taste like yours," he said smoothly. She scoffed. You just like food too much. He placed a hand on his chest dramatically. I am deeply offended. You think I only come for the puff-puff? She gave him a knowing look. Don't you? He smiled but didn't answer. Instead, he simply kept coming back. It took nearly a year before Sarah admitted to herself that she had started looking forward to seeing him. She tried to ignore the fluttering feeling in her stomach. When she saw him approaching, she told herself it was nothing. Then one evening, as she was closing up her stand, Tunde appeared with 2 packs of jollof rice and chicken. Thought you might be hungry, he said, handing her one. She hesitated. I don't take free things. Then consider it an exchange, he said. It became a routine. Tunde would bring her food after work, and they would sit and talk. He told her about his dreams, his love for music, and his childhood memories. She shared her struggles, her fears, her desire to one day own a proper shop instead of a roadside stand. One night, as they sat under the streetlights, he finally said, Sarah, I like you. Matter of fact, I think I'm in love with you. I don't know when it happened, but I do. She stared at him, her heart racing. She had been too scared to think about love. Too busy surviving to imagine a future with someone. Tunde, she started, but he held up his hand. You don't have to say anything now, he said gently. Just think about it. And she did. For months, one day, after nearly 2 years of friendship, Sarah finally looked him in the eyes and said, Tunde, I like you too. He blinked as if making sure he heard her correctly. Then a slow, joyous smile spread across his face. You mean it? She nodded, laughing nervously. Yes, I mean it. Without thinking, he pulled her into a hug, lifting her off the ground as she giggled. From that day on, they were inseparable. Their relationship grew stronger over time. Tunde took her on small, thoughtful dates, street food adventures, went beach walks, and late-night suya runs. One evening, he surprised her with a visit to an art gallery. I want to show you something beautiful, he said. She was hesitant. I don't belong in places like this. Of course you do, he said firmly, taking her hand. He made her feel special, like she was worthy of all the good things in life. She, in turn, made him feel grounded. Unlike the women he had met in his elite world, she didn't care about luxury. She cared about character. 2 years passed in what felt like a heartbeat. Then one day, Tunde decided it was time to tell her the truth. I've eaten at your stand for months. Now you eat with me. They sat on a nearby bench, eating in comfortable silence. Sarah's world is about to turn upside down. The man she thought was just a regular customer is actually the heir to a billionaire empire. How will Sarah react to Tunde's shocking revelation? Will she be accepted into his powerful elite world? And most importantly, will she ever get the chance to take back what was stolen from her and make her enemies pay? The story is only just beginning. Find out in the next episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.